So I really thought that I was going to end today in the red. And trust me, right? If I was a hater, I would be pretty mad too. But man, did we make it happen right at market close, right? Not only talking about power hour, but every entry, every exit, I called out with my LPP team. And one of my last trades, again, put me out in the green for TQQQ, $4,785. And don't forget about my 10 cents on TQQ. I left myself with my one lucky share, and SQQQ, $6,290.02 for a whopping $11,219. I was down at $1,500 on the day. I was up on SQQQ, but I was down about $6,000 on TQQQ. I made a series of mistakes to start off the morning. I announced them all to my LPP team. I made everyone aware of like, hey, I really need to like collect my thoughts before I dig myself into a deeper hole. So I was going to accept that I was going to take a red day. I was down $5,000. And after yesterday's green day and the day before that and the Friday before that, I mean, I was fine, right? I've been doing very well, right? My job is not to avoid risk. My job is simply to manage it. But man, I mean, the NASDAQ market came on back, right? So it broke through the EMA, it broke through that moving average, and I just saw that huge push of volume, that huge push of momentum, higher highs, higher lows. It was pretty wild to see. And then it peaked. But one thing that I did differently this time that I didn't do to start off the morning is I did not hesitate to lock in profits. I stepped on the gas when direction was favorable, but I did not hesitate at any point to lock in profits or to reduce my position size. Sometimes I have a tendency, and again, this is just something that I journaled today, I have a tendency of reducing my position size at overbought levels, and then I scratch my head and think, why am I reducing if we're already lacking progress? I should be closing here, right? I should be okay with walking away. I mean, was my trade perfect? Definitely not. Even when this thing ripped up to highs of nearly 357, right? I ended up selling pretty early, right around 355. I just was not able to really see myself holding beyond that point, right? Looking at previous highs, we were getting a little bit too close. I just wanted to play it safe. I felt like based off of my previous trades that I took this morning, I did not have the ground to stand on to be greedy, right? Being and making back what I lost today and then being in the green, right, with TQQQ, I was so grateful already. I was like, I don't want to feel like how I felt when I was in the red, right? So one thing that I was taught, a few years ago, and I think it really correlates a lot to trading, and let me know in the comments section if this resonates well with you, is that, good fighters learn from their mistakes after each and every fight that they have, right? So regardless if you win, regardless if you lose, good fighters after each fight can kind of like look back and learn from, their experience. Great fighters and the best fighters learn round after round. And think about it, right? Especially when it comes down to boxing or whatever it is, it's just more of an analogy. But I feel like it kind of humanizes the idea of trading, where good traders, might look back after a day and be like, okay, what could I have done differently? And that's great. But maybe the best traders, it's after each trade, we understand that each and individual trade we choose to take is singular, right? It's not correlated to the other trades that we took. Yet sometimes I feel like we always hold a grudge on our previous trade, especially if it didn't go according to plan. And I think that just really humanizes the idea of trading of, it's not just important to look back day in and day out of what we could have done better, but after each and every single trade to not make the same mistake we made in the past before or just a few minutes ago. We need to hold ourselves accountable and ask ourselves, what do I need to do better next time? And that can just be in a few minutes, right? What do I need to be more selective with? What do I need to wait for confirmation of, right? And let me know what you think about that. I shared that with my LPP team before, and they really liked that. But one thing that I saw today on Market Watch, and I think that this is the best way for me to be able to explain it, extreme fear has returned to the US stock market. There's just no other way for me to put it, right? If you're asking the question, why and how is the market selling off so much? There's a thing called VIX, right? We've talked about it before. VIX is the volatility index, also known as the fear index. And anytime that fear is being injected into the market, this is on the 1 hour time frame, the VIX goes up. And as you can see, it's very overbought. Fear has been injected into the market. Now it's looking overbought. We'll see if it begins to come on down, because if this thing begins to come on down, then hopefully fear will be leaving the market. But as you can see, based off of previous highs, we have a lot more room to move up. So when asking the question, can the markets continue to get cheaper? Of course, just like I explained even after last week's videos, right? I talked about the NASDAQ market on the 1 hour time frame and how it's oversold, and I'm getting ready to buy the dip, right? And again, this is my opinion, and this is how I'm choosing to trade. I am still waiting for the NASDAQ market to recover. I just want to wait for proper confirmation, just like I explained in my first video, right? I might be early in calling it out, but calling it out doesn't mean that I'm taking a trade, right? It just means that I am preparing. I'm creating a plan of action that once I get that confirmation, right, of higher highs and higher lows above this EMA line on the 1 hour time frame, just like we have before, then I know exactly what to do, right? And this is the difference between those that like to be impulsive and those that like to plan in advance. I don't mind day trading, but I'm not going to carry these positions overnight, right? That's why I close them out. That's why I leave myself with my one lucky share. And it pisses people off because they're like, well, if you're so certain that the market's going to recover, why not just buy and hold? Well, it's because I'm not certain. I can't predict the future, right? I don't have a crystal ball. I'm human just like everyone. I make mistakes just like everyone. And it's because of those mistakes that I've made in the past before encourage me to stay patient and to wait for that confirmation. And I think that's what really differentiates those that are learning from their mistakes versus those that don't, right? They're impulsive. They just choose to take a trade because they can. And trust me, I mean, their account represents who they are. When it comes down to my trades and what I like to, focus on is, I mean, if the market sells off just like we saw today, I don't mind shorting the market. I'll step on the neck of the bulls if I have to, if direction is favorable. I made $6,200 on SQQQ today, but also I'm not afraid to go long if direction is favorable. I made $4,700 on that alone. So I think it's good to be able to pivot on a dime if direction is favorable, and knowing when to step on the gas on more of the swing trade approach, right, for this potential recovery if and when the market chooses to present itself. I'm going to continue to pay attention to that VIX index. If the VIX continues to go up, then most likely fear will continue to be injected into the market. A lot of you guys saw today, treasury bonds and oil prices are rising. So with that being said, again, it just creates more fear that the Federal Reserve can be more hawkish with up and coming interest rate hikes. That's really all it is, right? So if you look at the Fed rate monitor tool, that's what they're expecting, that yes, the Federal Reserve can anticipate to raise interest rates 1/4 basis points by the next meeting. But guess what? That was already expected. Jerome Powell has said that one more is expected. So is it going to be next month or the month that follows or the month that follows after that? Nonetheless, an interest rate hike is most likely coming if the economic data supports it. So the only people that freak out during a market pullback or a market push are those that did not prepare. And at least for myself, I've been sleeping a lot better, kind of, other than Remy not being able to sleep. But I've been feeling a lot better, waking up every morning, not having an open position, and being able to decide, am I a bull or am I a bear today, right? Because I don't have that confirmation on that larger time frame, and I just wanted to provide you, if you needed it, a little bit more of insight on what I'm waiting for more of that swing trade, but also not afraid to take advantage of day trades once the opportunity presents itself. So I really hope that this video can just motivate you. Again, I just like messing around when it comes down to like talking about the trolls or talking about the haters. I like to see everyone win except for the AMC traders. But I have a lot of fun doing what it is that I do, not because I am perfect by any means. I made a handful of mistakes today, but again, my big lesson learned today was just being able to make micro adjustments after each trade and what I need to do better, which led to my successful trade that allowed me to make it all back, right? And this is the whole point of risk management, is I can lose 3 to 4 times in a row, and I just need one solid win to make back all of those losses. And I think today's a great representation of that. So I really hope that this video can motivate you to be patient, to manage and mitigate that risk, and to do whatever it is that you need to do to better your future self, right? So I hope that earned your thumbs up. Please consider subscribing, and I would love to invite you to tomorrow's live trading session. That's going to be the second link in the description down below. It's a one-time payment, lifetime access, and you'll get to watch me trade live every single day starting tomorrow. So if you have any questions, feel free to message me. If not, like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take it easy, team.